Hey, what's up, guys? It's Marcus, aka Rallow Cannon. We here at Manchester Studios, my studio, doing a brand new series where I break down my favorite mixes on my clients. Here we have Jazelle Kim's brand new song, Gasoline.
And bitches hating, they can fuck with me. Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside.
Let's check it out. Okay, so what we have here is Jazelle Kim's session right here. So we're just gonna do like a quick little mix breakdown. Let me show you what I got here. Okay, no. Blah. Alright. So what we have here now, right? This is basically gonna be what she sent me beforehand. I just want to show y'all the before and the after of like the whole song in its entirety, and then we're gonna run through it. Alright. So here's what she sent me. I'm just gonna play like the middle part.
I'm on 10, bitches hating, they can fuck with me. Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside.
You know what I mean? So that's basically what she sent me. She wanted me to get an idea of like what she wanted originally. So that's like basically her rough mix and everything like that. And she basically gave me notes of like what she wanted. And then here we have like the actual full track, mixed everything.
I'm on 10, bitches hating, they can fuck with me. Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside in that foreign and they gassing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire, that's that gasoline.
So off rip, you can already tell like the difference of like what I did. I just basically just raised the quality of the vocals and everything like that. Now when it came to the beat, I really didn't touch too much of it, but what you see here is basically like the sides were cut out from the lows. There's been a cut in the mids of the beat where the kick area basically.
I'm on 10, bitches hating, they can fuck with me.
More clearly and everything like that, you know. What we're gonna go to is the nitty gritty, right? The key word of this whole thing is gonna be compression. Compression. I'm telling you, that is the goal. That's what you need, bro. That's what you want. It's your bread and butter. So I already did like a cleanup with the actual like, SSL gear and the API EQ that we have here, like the preamp and the API EQ that we have here. But I can't break that down because I did that like a long time ago. I don't remember it. It's over. I don't remember that. What we did start with in her chain is 1176 right here, right? I love the 1176. It has like a nice texture to it. You know, you really can't go wrong with this. I seen Tizio use this on Chris Brown's vocals for singers, so it doesn't matter if it's rappers, singers, anything in between. This is like the godsend of compression. Like even if I bypass all this stuff, right?
10 bitches hating, they can fuck with me. Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside in that foreign and they gassing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire, that's that gasoline.
So you can see off rip of the stuff that I already bypassed, I kind of lost like a lot of color and a lot of the energy and clarity that I gave it, right? But that's only because I had to start it off that way just to get the levels correct. You know what I mean? You don't want no peaking. You don't want nothing coming out of line, right? It's like a marching band, right? Everything has to be in sync. Everything has to be in a straight line. So when it comes down to compression, right? You want to make sure that your vocals aren't already peaking. So when you see this meter right here,
I'm on 10, bitches hating, they can fuck with me. Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside in that foreign and they gassing me. Hot bitch, I'm on.
Basically what the compression is doing is making sure that nothing goes over that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want it to be distorted, or unless that's what you're going for, then that's cool. But with this record, you don't want no distortion that isn't being put there by you. All right, let's go on to the next one. Right now it's a de-esser in this chain. So for basically de-essing, her sibilance was crazy, and that's basically like in the high. So all the S's, I wanted to take that out, so I had to use a RDesser, which I freaking love. I love this RDesser plugin. Right. The next one's the EQ. in this with this EQ, I know it looks drastic, I know it looks crazy. Believe me, this is what it needed.
Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside in that foreign and they guessing me.
So you can already see that in her low end right here.
Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside in that foreign and they guessing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire, that's that gasoline. That's that gasoline, I fired up the truck.
So basically with the low end right there, you gotta make sure that that's controlled all the time, because you don't want it to sound like this.
Pull strings and they switching column over read.
Like that's not how you want your vocals to sit, man. You want that clarity. With low end, you gotta be careful. You gotta be very careful. Be like 3 levels of reduction going into this on this EQ. 2, 3, you know, little ones, right? Now you might ask, why didn't I just say like, why didn't I just do this, right? Why didn't I just duck right here, like with one band in this area? Well, that's a good question, right? Say that I did that, then that's cool. It's gonna affect the whole signal. So the whole area of that 1K right here, that whole area is gonna get affected, instead of just these particular peaks where you'll see
we fire ass fuck, real ass fuck, how we fuck the city up.
Those peaks are the ones that's getting deducted instead of the whole area, you know? And that's basically just to make sure that you're not like taking away any of the performance of the artist. With Jazelle, she's cool that with her performance, everything that is her. You know what I mean? I don't want to take her away. You know, that makes no sense. It's like taking a limb away. Like I don't want to take a limb away from her. You know what I mean? I don't want to take nothing away from her performance. Little meticulous things that you had to do to make sure that you got the right frequency, you got the right area that is being affected. You know, let's move on to the RVox, right? The RVox is the next one. It's basically just, I use that as a limiter. Like it's also a compressor as well, but I'll use it more as a limiter. It's like -2 right here, right? Nothing too crazy. You know, it's funny with mixing, everything is a tool, right? So I don't really take too much away or add too much. I do a little at a time. If you're doing something, it has a purpose. And with these plugins, like this black box right here, you see this little mix knob all the way at the top. It's at 20%. Usually it'll be at 100. No, I put it to 20%, man. It's like that's how much it needed to affect. And the black box, this is a saturation plugin, right? It's adding color to the vocals. Everybody needs like a different type of color. This black box in particular, I love. And basically you get to saturate certain areas in her vocals. So it could be like the boxiness part, it could be her low end, which is like that rumble that you hear, or it could be her high end, which is like that airiness, that clarity that you'll get. Moving on to the C4, like I said, compression. Compression is everything in this track right here. You want to make sure that you hearing every single syllable, every single like her punchiness, you know.
Fire ass fuck, real ass fuck, how we fuck the city up. Been bad niggas know we fire ass fuck.
See, like you'll see like that gasoline. You'll see like this little mid section right here.
I'm on fire, that's that gasoline. That's that gas.
You know, that's the mids that's actually gonna attack like her boxiness of her voice. You know, where the body is, you know, of her voice, that bass. You know, I did a little 4.8 reduction here. You know, nothing too crazy, right? And this C4 is great because it's a multi-band compressor. It does certain areas in her voice. You got her 250 to like 2K, 16K. Those are just frequency bands, right? I'm controlling those peaks, holding it down, gluing it together. You know, that's what the C4 is doing. This is around like, I think the technically third compressor that I'm using for this. So when it comes to using multiple compressors, I like using plugins as a tool and not going too heavy on them. That's what I mean where it's doing slight things. You know, with this 1176 right here, this compressor right here, it's doing
and they switching column over read outside.
1, 2, you know, deduction in the volume. You know, with the C4, I use the C4 as a constructive EQ as well as a compressor, where I'm adding clarity to her voice little by little, but I'm also taming with this threshold right here. I'm also taming what I do, you know, so it doesn't clash or it doesn't make it disgusting, if that makes sense, you know. Going down to the next part of the chain, it's gonna be another de-esser. With the de-esser, I had to do it this way. Every time that she speaks and you'll hear like a sound, it will basically be deducted by -3, right? Telling you where in her vocal it's happening the most, you know. So 5K range, that's where I decided it had to be at. So basically I just deducted it there.
Strings and they switching column over read outside.
The next one is basically another EQ. You know, nothing too crazy. I just like this EQ specifically for the warmth that it gives the vocal. And I added more clarity here. I added more to her highs, her high mids, and took away from like a little bit of the low end, like in the 900 range, and added some more lows in like the 200 range, because that's really where the body is. And then you got basically another de-esser and another compressor. But I told you the key word in this whole thing is gonna be compression. So basically what this compressor is doing is catching anything that I missed, right? Basically when I'm talking about artifacts, what I mean by artifacts is like little hissing noises that might come from a plugin. If it's like any extra volume that might come from a plugin as well. I know for a fact that some plugins, say like a EQ or anything like that, if you just add it on, it would just automatically boost the volume of the vocal basically. I don't need none of that. I don't need any of that. So basically what this last compressor on the chain is doing is catching all that and evening out the signal. When we go into the last compressor, this is a parallel compressor. Now parallel compression is the most important type of compression you could really do for a vocal. So I'm gonna demonstrate here. I'm gonna turn it on, off, and then on.
Me, hot bitch, I'm on fire. That's that gasoline. That's that gasoline. I fired up the truck. 2 bad bitches and we fire as fuck.
Okay, so you saw how it was basically dead. Everything I've done beforehand was already like pristine. Like I liked the way it sounded, but it just needed that extra oomph. This P-Comp is doing is giving it that extra oomph that it needs, right? So basically I got 2 plugins on it that I was talking about, the highs, her S's, her brightness. It was just a lot, you know. I added a lot, so I had to tame that. I had to.
In that foreign and they guessing me, hot bitch, I'm on fire.
And that's what those 2 plugins are doing on this particular parallel compressor, on this compressor right here. All right. So on this last step that we're going to be talking about, right, we're basically at the end of the mix, right? We liked how everything sounded, gave it everything that it needed to succeed, right? Now we're going to go to the last step of the actual vocals, which is the all vox, right? This Soothe plugin, oh my gosh, this Soothe plugin is a godsend. I don't have to do much, man. It's just like, you turn it on, like you just
in that foreign and they guessing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire. That's that gasoline. That's that gasoline. I fired up the truck. 2 bad bitches and we fire as fuck. Real ass fuck. How we fuck the city up. Been bad niggas know we fire as fuck.
But the next one is basically like this.
I'm on 10 bitches hating, they can fuck me. Pull strings and they switching column over read. Outside in that foreign and they guessing me. Hot
basically this.
In that foreign and they guessing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire.
Controlling that is like key to me.
In that foreign and they guessing me.
And then you got the other bands that's basically they're doing like little tiny deductions here and there.
In that foreign and they guessing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire. That's that gasoline. That's that gasoline. I fired up the truck. Two bad bitches and we fire ass fuck. In that foreign and they guessing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire. That's that gasoline. That's that gasoline. I fired up the truck. Two bad bitches and we fire ass fuck. Real ass fuck. How we fuck the city up.
On his behalf.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoy the show.
We appreciate it, guys. Gasoline, it took me hours to mix this, guys. Probably days. I didn't do anything else but mix this shit. And
I lived and breathed mixing this record.
pretty much
Like
the biggest
3
thing you
days.
guys need to know.
I slept at the studio.
Yeah, bro. Like, I haven't eaten in days.
So when you hear this mix, you're hearing me.
Foreign and they guessing me. Hot bitch, I'm on fire. That's that gasoline. That's that gasoline. I fired up the truck. Two bad bitches and we fire ass fuck.